But the way Khamzat
different animal
kind of puts together his wrestling, puts together his kind of conditioning, his striking, but the way he puts that together in the cage, who has DDP fought that's even close to that style, that explosive, shoot from 10 feet out, grab you, not let go till he gets what he wants?
That's why it's a great fight.
Oh,
because DDP hasn't fought anybody like Khamzat, and Khamzat hasn't fought anybody like DDP.
Khamzat Chimaev, the undefeated wrecking ball, is not just aiming for one belt, he's calling out Alex Pereira, the scary striker who already holds gold. At the same time, current middleweight king Dricus Du Plessis is firing off savage words, promising to break Chimaev before the dream match even happens. It's drama, danger, and dream fights rolled into one headline, and everyone wants to know what happens next, right this minute. Dricus Du Plessis sat in front of the camera on Ariel Helwani's show, grinning like a kid who knows a secret. He told everyone he is not scared of Khamzat, the man many call the boogeyman of the division. In fact, he flipped the nickname on its head. He said there can only be one real boogeyman, and that's him.
There's a lot of guys like Dricus, who's bigger than you, who's the middleweight champion.
Yeah.
He's fucking huge, man.
Yeah,
he's cutting a ton of weight. I don't know what he cuts, but every time I interview him, I'm like, how?
Yeah.
How the are you 185 pounds? You're enormous. He looks like a heavyweight.
Yeah.
And he is a heavyweight when he fights. I mean, he's over 205 for sure.
Yeah,
these
guys, they blow up.
Blow up.
The South African champion described how every big moment in his career has started the same way. People telling him something is impossible. When he knocked out previous contenders, the experts doubted him. When he grabbed the belt, they doubted him again. Now they say Khamzat is unstoppable. Du Plessis promises to show that even unstoppable trains can derail when they hit a mountain. He visualizes dragging Khamzat into deep rounds, testing his lungs, and making him question every bold word he ever said. And he isn't shy about extra motivation. He watched Bilal Muhammad lose his own title fight and had a victory post ready to fire. He admits he saved the tweet on his phone, then hit send the second Bilal was finished.
That could also send Ilya out there for a while. And then you've got DDP and Khamzat Chimaev, who emerges from that.
But DDP, man, he is something else, bro. For so long, we thought he just was bad. He's not. He's really good. He's like really, really good.
For Du Plessis, breaking myths is fun and Khamzat is next. Meanwhile, miles away from the middleweight chaos, the lightweight division has its own storm brewing. Arman Tsarukyan, who trains like a machine and rarely smiles during interviews, is convinced champion Ilia Topuria is terrified of him. Arman explains it in kid simple terms. If Topuria really believed he could win, he would sign the contract, not talk about vacating the belt. Arman is so sure of this that he keeps his phone volume maxed waiting for a date. He says he's already in shape because he sparred twice a day all summer. September, October, no problem. If the UFC wants someone else first, he'll smash that guy in October and still be fresh for Ilya in December.
With Arman Tsarukyan weighing in as the backup, is he getting back in the good graces with you and the...
Well, it's not about getting back in the good graces. It's about, you know, the guy had the opportunity to fight for a title and didn't make weight. It's just... I mean, you couldn't fuck up anything worse than that.
Arman brings up money too. He knows Topuria wants easier fights with big paydays, names like Paddy Pimblett or fan favorite Justin Gaethje. But Arman thinks the belt should not be protected by pay-per-view math. It should be defended against the most dangerous challenger. He calls himself that challenger with zero hesitation. Every sentence he says ends with the same message: I'm coming, and you can't hide. For lightweight fans, it feels like the schoolyard chase game is about to reach the corner where running stops. Not everyone is cheering for Khamzat to raise a shiny belt. Veteran coach Dean Thomas, who usually watches fights with a notebook and calm voice, raised eyebrows by saying a Chimaev title reign would be a flat-out disaster. His reason is simple counting, not emotions.
And for Khamzat to go, what, I think number 11, maybe he's going to fight Neil Magny. No one will fight him 11 through 3, and they go, all right, here's Gilbert Burns. And, you know, I'm a guy, I've been all over his Czechostanian nuts, dude.
He points to Khamzat's history of fighting once a year, sometimes less. Champions, he argues, are like school buses. They need to arrive on schedule so everyone else can move forward. If the bus shows up only once in 12 months, kids stand in the rain, and the whole day is delayed. Dean lists names of hard-working contenders Imavov, Borallo, and others who would be stuck in limbo, risking bad matchups just to stay busy. He isn't calling Khamzat lazy, he's calling him inconsistent. The UFC books events all around the world, from Abu Dhabi to New Jersey, yet Khamzat still averages a single appearance a year. Dean worries that adding a championship's extra media and training demands will stretch that timeline even more.
Yeah, I think Khamzat is an incredible fighter, but you're fighting in the top 5 of the UFC. Everybody's incredible fighters. Khamzat is an absolute animal, absolutely. But I mean, you look at the Gilbert Burns fight, which you could have scored either way. You look at the Kamaru Usman fight, and you go, yeah, he did beat Robert Whittaker, but obviously his teeth broke back. It's unfortunate.
His ask is clear: fight more, or the division freezes. Some fans call the take harsh, but Dean doubles down, saying hard truths beat silent problems every time. At least that's his honest warning today. While coaches argue with calculators, Sean Strickland fights with words sharper than elbows. He posted a long rant calling Khamzat mentally weak, claiming he saw the Chechen star quit during a training camp years ago. Sean laughs about a video where he mock-praised Khamzat, telling him he was better than everyone, only to underline that tough guys should not bully easy targets. He accuses Khamzat of picking small, inexperienced partners just to look scary. The response from Khamzat arrived quickly and sounded like a playground challenge. If you have a problem, come find me in Los Angeles.
Wanted to get your thoughts on Dricus as a champion, his run so far, and what do you make of his grappling?
What do you think, guys? How I done with this guy, Rob? How he done? Rob took him down. So if Rob took him down, so there is salam alaikum.
Khamzat reminds Strickland that he stayed quiet while they trained together, then started talking after Khamzat's travel visa got suspended. Now that he is back in the US, Khamzat says the door is open, no need for social media bravado. Fans are glued to their feeds, guessing whether this war of words might morph into a short-notice fight, or at least a viral gym session. For now, it's trash talk poker, each raising the stakes in hopes the other folds first. The tension feels like two magnets spinning closer, waiting for the snap. If it happens, the internet will break before gloves even touch canvas. In France, Nasruddin Imavov is polishing every weapon for UFC Paris, where he meets Caio Borralho, a fighter many call technical but boring. Imavov smiles when reporters repeat that label.
Declaring the winner by TKO, Nasruddin the Sniper Imavov.
He respects skill but hates slow contests. He swears this match will not be a chess game, it will be a fireworks show. He says he's a complete fighter. If Caio shoots a takedown, he'll welcome him to the mat and hunt submissions. If Caio stays standing, Imavov plans to unleash sharp boxing and knees. The French crowd, hungry for action, pushes him in every training session. Imavov explains that fans remember moments, not decisions. He wants a moment that plays on highlight reels for years. In camp, his coaches force him through rounds where he is stuck under heavier grapplers, then straight into pad work that burns the lungs. This, he believes, prepares him to drag Caio out of his comfort zone and into chaos. He even jokes about borrowing a boring gray suit, ripping it off mid-fight, and showing the bright colors underneath. The message is clear. Caio can run, grapple, or stall, but the arena will still explode with excitement. Imavov intends to light Paris like Bastille Day. Far from Paris, Islam Makhachev quietly posts training camp photos on social media. Fans zoom in on the background and notice bigger partners wearing welterweight-sized gloves. The reason? A rumored fight against Jack Della Maddalena at Madison Square Garden in November. It isn't official, but when Khabib Nurmagomedov mentions something, people pay attention. Islam looks thicker in the pictures, suggesting he is adding muscle for the jump to 170 pounds. Friends say he studies tape at night, jotting notes about Jack's crisp boxing and body shots. Moving up is risky. Power feels different when the other guy weighs 10 pounds more on fight night, yet Islam believes technique plus wrestling base equals safety. He wants to chase a second belt while lightweight waits for Topuria's next move. The idea of champion versus rising star in New York excites promoters because MSG has a history of blockbuster ticket sales. Islam stays calm, saying only that he loves challenges and will be ready if the call comes. In the gym, teammates joke about needing an extra refrigerator to keep up with his new diet. More steak, less salad, and endless rounds of grappling mark each day.
Gotcha. What did you think about Khamzat's win against Whittaker?
It's like, I expect Khamzat can beat him, but not like this,
That was crazy.
Beat him like very easy, and he's like one of the best in his division. And I hope he will soon fight for the title.
November could reveal a whole new Islam. Michael Venom Page, known for dancing between punches, has signed to fight Jared Cannonier at UFC 319. Both men admit the matchup surprised them. MVP thought his flashy welterweight win earned another bout at 170, but politics slowed that division. Cannonier wanted a traditional middleweight foe, not a tall switch hitter moving up. Yet they both accepted because big opportunities rarely knock twice. MVP says he respects Jared's raw power, calling it like being hit by a hammer. To prepare, he added heavy bag rounds focused on calf kicks, hoping to slow Cannonier's base. He also practices sudden level changes to keep Jared guessing. Cannonier, on the other hand, works with faster sparring partners, teaching his hips to turn quicker for hooks. He knows speed kills when reach favors the other guy. Media day should be interesting. MVP smiles and jokes, while Cannonier answers in calm, low tones that sound like warning drums. Fans debate whether style will beat strength or strength will crush style. No matter what, both fighters view this as a ladder rung. Win here and the title picture clears. Lose, and the climb restarts from the bottom. When the cage door shuts, all theories become flying fists alone. Former welterweight king Kamaru Usman, sitting at the analyst desk, raised his eyebrows at talk of Paddy Pimblett getting a lightweight title shot. Usman says the sport must keep its promise that the best fight the best. Skipping a dozen ranked killers, he argues, is like a teacher handing the spelling bee trophy to the class clown before the contest starts. Usman praises Paddy's charisma and success against the competition he has faced, but notes that big arenas still echo with names like Justin Gaethje, Arman Tsarukyan, Dan Hooker, and Beneil Dariush. If Gaethje gets passed over, Usman believes Tsarukyan should get the call. He even remarks that if UFC bosses really wanted Gaethje, the paperwork would be signed by now. The delay hints they want Gaethje in a money fight while the belt is defended elsewhere. Usman's main worry is fairness. Fans trust rankings because they expect a line. Cut the line too often, and the line disappears, replaced by hashtags and outrage.
Khamzat Chimaev on your back in round one is not easy to get off. And then he was able to sink that in, and that goes to show how strong of a squeeze this freaking dude had.
Could he pull that same style against Dricus Du Plessis? Because I will say this.
1000%.
His speech ends with a shrug, but his face says more. If he were still champion, he wouldn't accept a shortcut challenger without proof inside the cage. Merit, he warns, is fragile. Treat it badly, it breaks fast. Outside the UFC bubble, Artem Lobov, known for brawling with a grin, shares a less glamorous tale. He claims bare knuckle fighting championship still owes him about $300,000 from his 2019 pay-per-view win over Paulie Malignaggi. Lobov remembers being told the money would arrive after an 8-month accounting delay. Months passed, messages were sent, and promises followed. Finally, his legal team reached out, and the promotion answered that every dollar was being reinvested to grow the company. Translation: the check is in the mail, but the mail truck keeps circling the block. Artem insists he trusts BKFC president David Feldman to honor his word eventually, yet he can't sign a new contract while the old bill remains unpaid. The situation feels like mowing someone's lawn, watching them compliment the stripes, then drive away with your mower and wallet. Still, Artem doesn't close the door on returning. He likes bare-knuckle action and thinks fans would pay to see him scrap again. First, though, he wants the math to balance. One good fight deserves one good payday, especially when broken hands and scars are the interest paid each night. Until then, his gloves hang idle, waiting for a settled score sheet. The final thread ties back to Khamzat Chimaev, whose ambitions stretch wider than any single weight class. In a recent interview, he laughed at rumors of retiring after one title. He said, in plain words, that he needs more money and the fastest path is stacking belts. First, he plans to take Dricus Du Plessis' middleweight crown. Then he wants to cut down again for another run at welterweight gold, challenging the Australian champion he respectfully calls that guy. Not stopping there, he eyes the light heavyweight strap, suggesting a showdown with whoever wins between Magomed Ankalaev and Alex Pereira. The thought of Chimaev versus Pereira sparks instant debate. Pereira's thunderous kicks against Khamzat's mauling takedowns. Chimaev claims he is working with a new coach who promises to sculpt his body so he can shift between 170, 185, and 205 like changing hats. Critics question his cardio. Khamzat shrugs and says 5 rounds are won, he will be ready. For fans, the idea feels like watching someone try to beat the final boss in 3 different video games on the same night. Impossible? Maybe, but the word impossible is exactly what draws Khamzat forward. Every challenge is fuel for greatness.